Hi, I'm Miley, and welcome to the MySpace podcast. Today, I will be reviewing the book Archenemies by Marissa Mayer. This is book number 2 of the Renegades series. I give this book a 5 out of 5. I really liked it. It was slow in the beginning, and I feel like that's just like with every other book in a series. It's going to start off slow, but then it speeds up. So I still give it a 5 out of 5 because when it did speed up, I was just straight into it, really engaged, loved it. So the plot, it's mainly about Nova trying to get Ace's helmet. So that kind of what it kind of follows that. But we also get to see Adrian and Nova's growing relationship, and also Ruby and Oscar's, but mainly Adrian and Nova's. And then we see more of the world and how there's differences in people. Like, there's differences in the people who have powers, the prodigies, and the ones who aren't prodigies. And it's basically, in a way, but it's mainly prodigies versus anarchists storyline. This is also kind of a little all over the place, whatever to down. So, basically, Nova gets a job in the artifacts department so that she can get close to Ace's helmet and figure out where it is. And now she needs to come up with a plan to get it out. And she's been recently, throughout the book, she's kind of flirting with Adrian because Ace told her to. Ace was like, you have to get closer to him. But Adrian's also like, I need to keep my distance because she doesn't like the Sentinel. And, well, if that comes out, I'm kind of scared that she'll leave me. Then there's also a lot about Adrian. So they come out, tell all of the Renegades that they have Adrian, and they show what it can do by using it on someone, on a villain. And a lot of them are like, oh my god, yay, I love this. And Nova's like, no, I hate this. This is bad. And Nova's like, well, maybe I can use this against the Renegades. So then that becomes part of her plan. So Nova and Cyanide work together to come up with a way to use it against the Renegades. Adrian finds a way that he can be around Max without getting his powers drained, and then Nova's like, oh my god, I could use that. Yeah, so Adrian finds a way to get around Max without his powers getting drained, and Nova was like, oh my god, I could use that, and uses it. And that's also probably going to be a reason why she's found. She's going to be found out. That's going to be one of them. There's so many reasons. So then with her amount of Adrian that she stole and what she stole from Adrian, she steals the helmet, and then there's a whole little battle between her and Frostbite's crew. 3 of Frostbite's crew, including Frostbite, get neutralized and don't have their powers anymore. I'm like, karma. Nobody liked you. But also it's kind of sad. But also, like, you abused your power. So why should you get to keep them? But then also, like, it's the same with the villains. So it's just it's kind of like a catch-22. And then at the end, we get Adrian going to Nova and being like, and telling her how much he hates Nightmare and wants to kill her, basically, which is ironic. And also throughout the whole book, we get Nova saying how much she hates the Renegades, and then Nova Nova, and then Adrian struggling with how to be the Sentinel and how, like, nobody likes him. And he also paints a mural for Nova, which does have a major thing in it. I won't talk about it. I don't really want to. But it's really cute, and it's totally going to be coming up in the next book, because I'm pretty sure part of the reason why it's more spoiler is because in the next book it's going to give her powers. I think it already gave her powers once in this book. Let's go to Nova. So there's not a lot I can say about it right now. I didn't take that many notes. But she mainly stayed on the villain side for the duration of the book. There were some times where she was tempted to go be with the villains. Those were just certain moments, so just a couple times. One that I'll talk about later. And then there's also a character who can make you, like, see the good in the world and stuff, and she was like, oh my god, what if? But yeah, those were only, like, very, very small times. She also kind of, in a way, she kind of leads the anarchists and is definitely more on the side of fighting while the others seem to give up. And I think that's going to come more into hand in the next book, because I have started reading the second book. I started reading the third book. And she talks a lot more about how the Renegades are turning to villains with Agent N. So basically, after all the patrol units are told that they can get Agent N after they go through training, she basically asks and says, like, what's there to stop them from becoming villains themselves? Because there are no rules for them, and they could just abuse the power that they have with Agent N. And these renegades could just put it off as that the ends will justify the means, and nobody will really get in trouble. And then the renegades will also lie, which is evident with Frostbite and her crew, so just gonna abuse that power that they have. And also Nova says Agent N is a way of oppression, which honestly, yeah. And that once there's no one to challenge the renegades anymore, they're just going to become more and more powerful and never stop. So they're just going to become the villains themselves. Adrian now. So, to start this off, he doesn't believe the Nightmare is dead. Like, of course he doesn't. He just has this feeling, which honestly, yeah, it's understandable, because you're literally kind of in love with her and you don't know it. And then later in the book, Winston tells him that Nightmare isn't dead, which is also going to be part of how he figures out who Nova really is. He's gonna just one day he's gonna wake up and be like, what? Like, he's gonna put all these little things together, and he's gonna be like, oh my god, is Nova Nightmare? But then he's gonna be like, no, she can't be, but maybe she is, but no, I love her, no. And then he's gonna be like, oh wait, maybe she is. And then they're gonna hate each other for a bit. Maybe. We'll see. I'm excited. It's also confused. It's confirmed in this book that he really wants to prove himself to others, especially his dads. He wants to show that he's more than who he is. I talked about this in the last video. And I think it's partly because all people see him as are the son of the two, head council members. They don't really see him for who he is. Only Nova has. kind of. And then, as a Sentinel, he has been doing a lot of good work in catching bad guys, but he also doesn't follow the laws, which I think puts a point for him, gives him a point in the public view, because they're like, he's actually doing stuff. But I think that was only mentioned like once. And honestly, just he wants, it's just so much with him. And then there's some time where he pretends he's dead, but then he comes back. It's like Nova in Nightmare. He wanted to tell people that he was Sentinel. Like, he was all like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna catch Nightmare, and then I can tell everyone, and they'll all be like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. But that doesn't happen, and it just kind of snowballs from there, and he goes through everything, you know? He's like, I can't tell anyone now because I just did this and that, blah, 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 and then his dads aren't really gonna like what he's done. Especially how he doesn't follow the rules that the Renegades have, all those laws. And then, also in this one, he's then, I'm looking for a word, I don't remember what the word is, but I know it. You know, like when you know a word and it's on the tip of your tongue? Right there. But anyways, Frostbite lied to people and said that the Sentinel killed someone when really he hadn't. And then he really wants to tell Nova, but he knows how much she hates the Sentinel, and he's like, I can't tell her yet. Kind of annoying, but also like understandable. You really don't know how much she hates you. You really don't know. Not at all. It's kind of crazy, honestly. Oscar and Ruby. So they are definitely getting closer, and Ruby is letting herself feel more. And Oscar is being more open and trying to get her to notice him. And it's really cute how close they're getting. He also has this very elaborate plan on how to tell her he likes her, which is gonna not work out probably if we're gonna think about all like other books and stuff. And he also keeps asking Nova things about this, and it's honestly hilarious because everyone thinks that Adrian and Nova are dating. It's really funny. Dana, she loves the Renegades. Like, she loves everything they stand for, everything. And she thinks Agent N is an amazing idea. So then, of course, when Nova is all like, I don't like Agent N, and blah, 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 and says all these things, Dana is immediately suspicious of her. Like, immediately. And, mind you, Dana can turn into a swarm of butterflies. So, like, she's definitely going to use that to spy on Nova. Because now she doesn't trust Nova at all. Renegades / Agent N, because these are going together. Honestly, Agent N is just a violation of human rights. Pretty sure Nova said that. And the Renegades don't care. And Nova has, like, brought that up, and they're just like, we'll talk about it. But of course they're not going to talk about it. And also not going to talk about how Renegades are going to abuse this power, because they're just like, oh no, our prodigies, our Renegades won't do that. No. Oh, they will. And a lot of Renegades just don't care because they're all like, why should we care about villain rights? They're villains. They do bad. We should just be trying to get them off the streets and hurting them and killing them. And it pisses me off. I'm like, these are real people. I'm on Nova's side here. Like, these are real people. And honestly, Nova showed them, well, Nightmare showed them, that Agent N can be used against them. Now, everyone's kind of scared. Kind of funny. Anarchus. So, Ace is dying and needs the helmet. I don't know how it's gonna help him, but like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know how the helmet's gonna help him, but I guess we'll see. All the anarchists also seem slightly discouraged, especially at the end, like I've said. And it's really only Nova who keeps trying to go. She's like, we have to do this, we have to. And then also what I've noticed that Ace has slightly different views than Nova. Like, she's more looking for the change. He's looking to kill all of the Renegades. And I think he's just been manipulating her this whole time. And she just doesn't notice it. Because, well, that's her uncle, the person who basically saved her after her parents died. Well, after her parents were murdered. And I think I like this too. Like, she stands for what is right. And I think there's more for her in all that she stands for. Like, I think she needs to, or at least I kind of hope that something like happens in this third book where something comes to light with the Renegades and with the anarchists, and then a whole group of them get together. So her, Adrian, Max, Oscar, and Ruby just get together and fight. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Also, I feel like there would need to be a whole other book for that. So I'm excited to see where that's going. So a little bit of Max, not a lot, but I completely feel like he's gonna be part of how Nova's secret gets out. And then, because look at, in the first book, he absorbs some of Nova's powers. So of course he has some of her powers, and that something's gonna happen, and it's gonna come, and then that's gonna be another thing that connects Nova to Nightmare. And it's just, and then what happened at the end of this book, that's also gonna help. But we'll have to wait and see what happens to him in the next book. Now, on to the major spoilers. I don't really have any small ones. Okay. Number 1. Ace is found alive and captured by the Renegades. Of course he was. Something has to happen, right? Now on to the good stuff. Nova and Adrian kissed. Yes. I was so happy. I was waiting for it. I was like, hi. Okay. Oh. But then also during this scene, she had to make him fall asleep. But I'm still happy about it. Yeah, I'm really happy that they kissed. Although I wish it would have been more natural, but of course it's not in a book like this, in a story. So, onto the crazier stuff. Like, that's not crazy. When Nova stole the helmet, Ace's helmet, and there was a whole fight afterwards, Max was hurt by frostbite. Frostbite then lies, well, her whole crew lies and tells a whole different story, and Nova's all like, I didn't kill him. Mind you, this all happens in the next book, I'm pretty sure. I'm giving you a little bit about the next book. Just a teensy bit, because I'm not that far into it. But after this, Frostbite was then trying to crawl away from Max and not help him, and Nova was like, your powers are basically saving him, so you get to stay. So Nova is basically saving Max's life and keeping him alive long enough for him to be taken to the hospital. At least, hopefully she helped save his life. Hopefully, because he's in a coma and nobody can go by him. Which I think Nova's gonna come to this little place where she's then like, he needs a healer and he needs a prodigy healer, and the only way to do that, and the only way for somebody to go by him, they need the necklace. Okay, so either it's going to be Adrian or Nova. So either Nova's going to be like, going to give up and be like, here you go, here's the amulet. Or she's going to get captured and she's going to give it to them. Or Adrian's going to be like, I need to save my younger brother and show what he can do by tattooing people. And then on top of that, Adrian now wants to kill Nightmare, which, like I've said before, is hilarious because Nova is Nightmare and he really likes Nova, so can't wait to see what happens there. And then also, while stealing Ace's helmet, Nova didn't try to cover for herself all that well because she was like, oh, I'm not coming back after this, but now she is, so she's on thin ice right now, and she's definitely going to be found out soon enough in this third book. And honestly, I thought in the second book her identity was going to come out, but no, it's the third book, so I can't wait. And I also can't wait to see how it ends, because Dana knows she's Nightmare, but Dana also can't come back to human mode because she's stuck in swarm mode because Nova captured one of her butterflies. So I'm excited to see how Dana's gonna show the Renegades who Nova really is. I'm super excited. I started reading the third one because I was bored and had like a day, 1 or 2 days. So I'm excited. I can't wait for this next book. I'm also really tired and have something to go do later, like an hour. Okay, anyways. Thanks for watching. I had a lot of fun reading this book. And there are some plot holes and things that I wish would be filled out and stuff. But I usually just ignore those. And yeah, I love the book. Maybe I have convinced you guys to read it. Who knows? I do know they're long books, but I just like longer books and I love to read, so yeah. Anyways, that's it. Again, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.